Good morning. And what a wonderful morning it is in a beautiful, very patriotic, obviously, city of Huntington Beach. I knew Huntington Beach was very special even as a young person here in Southern California when I would come down here to surf and also to go to the Golden Bear for entertainment. So Huntington Beach is very special to me, and I'm greatly honored to be your speaker today. We are gathered today as our nation has since the Civil War to observe Decorations Day, later Memorial Day, to reconnect with our history and our core values as we honor and cherish those who gave their lives for the ideals and freedoms we cherish. More than 1 million American service members died in the wars and conflicts of this nation that we have fought since the first colonial soldiers took up arms in 1775 to fight for our independence. Each person who died during those conflicts was a loved one, cherished by family and friends. Each was a loss to our community and to our nation. The observance of this day was born of compassion and empathy in 1863 as the Civil War raged. Grieving mothers, wives, daughters, sisters, and loved ones were cleaning Confederate soldiers' graves in Columbus, Mississippi, and then placing flowers on them. They looked over and noticed nearby the Union soldiers' graves, dusty, overgrown with weeds. Grieving for their own fallen soldiers, the Confederate women understood that the dead of Union soldiers buried nearby were cherished loved ones of families and communities far away. They cleaned the tangled brush and the mud from those graves, as well as those of their own soldiers, and laid flowers on them as well. Soon the tradition of Decorations Day for the graves of fallen soldiers spread. On May 5th, 1866, when the Civil War was over, Henry Wells of Waterloo, New York, closed his drugstore and suggested that all other shops in town also close for the day to honor all soldiers killed in the Civil War, Union and Confederate alike. It was a gesture of healing and reconciliation in a land ripped apart by conflict. 16 years later, in 1862, the nation observed its first Memorial Day, a day set aside to remember the honor and sacrifice of those who died in our nation's wars. For decades, Memorial Day was a day in our nation when stores closed and communities gathered together for parades and other celebrations around the country. Speeches honoring those who gave their lives, and the laying of wreaths, and the playing of taps. We in this country owe a great debt of gratitude to those who sacrificed their lives so that we could live free. We can begin to repay that debt and honor our dead by not forgetting, but by remembering what they did and what their families sacrificed. President Ronald Reagan, the renowned patriot and the great communicator, said at Arlington Cemetery on this day in 1982, "The United States and the freedom for which it stands, the freedom for which they died, must endure and prosper. Their lives remind us that freedom is not bought cheaply. It has a cost. It imposes a burden. And just as they whom we commemorate were willing to sacrifice, so too must we, in a less final, less heroic way, be willing to give of ourselves. It is therefore sincerely appreciated, but it is also insufficient for us to simply take time from our day and our busy lives to gather here to remember those who gave their last full measure of devotion. It is rather, to again paraphrase Abraham Lincoln, that from these honored dead, we should take an increased measure of devotion. And of that devotion, I ask of you, as I believe our honored dead would have deeply appreciated, I urge you to take an active and informed part of the governance of our republic. Learn the facts of our political realities and vote accordingly. Remember, as I have told my own adult children, you have a sacred honor to be an active and informed voter. So many, many men and women died for that right for you. And all too often, if they survived, those service members were maimed for life, physically and often emotionally. So many fought and suffered and died to give you the sacred rights of our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. To vote, it is your duty to vote for our governance and the future of our republic. I therefore ask you to volunteer your time and service to our community, our state, and our nation. I know many of you have done so in the past and currently do so. Those who presently do not, consider this day and our fallen heroes who gave all for our nation. In their name and memory, act to help our country and our citizens by volunteering even a few hours per month. But do volunteer constructively and often. Remember, as Ronald Reagan warned us, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We did not pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on to them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States, where men were free. Please join me now in a moment of silence as we remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice that we might live free. Thank you. I ask that you please continue to make a difference every day with your dedication to our nation that you have exhibited by being here today, by your words and in your actions. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.